Okay, finally live. All right. Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, rather. Alejandro Ventura here. Just waiting on my partner. Um, we've been doing this real estate live talks on Fridays for the last 3 weeks, in which we unpack different tactics and hacks on how to have a more positive home buying and selling experience. Here it is, Greg. So today I have with me one of the best loan officers in town, Greg Conley. Greg, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
All right. Um, Today we're going to be talking about how to buy a nicer, better home without spending more money. Essentially, how can you optimize the resources you already have to get into a home you really love? And it has to do with how to lower your monthly expenses so you can qualify for better loan terms. But to unpack that idea, Greg is going to help us with it. So, Greg, take it away.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks again for having me. The basic idea is this: mortgages are calculated based on what buyers can pay for a mortgage on a monthly basis. So your loan officer will tell you, hey, you're qualified for a $500,000 house or a $300,000 house, whatever it is. But that number starts with how much you qualify on a monthly basis, how much you qualify for on a monthly basis. And the basic calculation of that is you take your income, you cut it in half, you subtract out your credit-based debts, so car loans, personal loans, student loans, credit cards, and then whatever is left over of that, that's how much you are allowed to spend on your monthly mortgage. So uh, really what we're talking about is asking the question of any of those credit-based debts that folks might have, a car loan, a personal loan, a credit card, etc. Are there additional ways to leverage your income or your down payment or cash on hand in order to minimize those? So let's use an example. Alejandro, what's the median home sale price in Spokane?
$400,000 is a good number.
Okay, so $400,000. Let's say somebody's ready to buy a home, $400,000, and they have 10% down saved up. They've saved up 40 grand. And let's say they also have a car loan. They've had this car for 2 or 3 years. They owe about $20,000 left on it. Their car loan costs them about $500 a month. If they bought that $400,000 house, they put 10% down. With today's interest rates and an estimate on taxes and insurance, their monthly payment would be about 2550. Okay, 2550. And that 2550 is on top of whatever other bills they have, including this $500 car payment. Now, what if instead they said, you know what, we're going to only put 5% down on this $400,000 home. So we're going to put $20,000 for our down payment. We're going to take the other $20,000. We're going to pay off our car. Their monthly payment on a $400,000 house with 5% down, same interest rate, same estimates for taxes and insurance, increases to $2675 or about $125. And they paid off their car. And so they wiped out a $500 per month debt. So from a budgeting perspective, they just increased their monthly cash flow by $375. Right? So that's $375 they get to keep in their pocket. Or if they desired, depending on the taxes on the property, that increase in $375 per month could increase their purchasing power by $40,000 to $50,000 simply by eliminating a monthly debt. Because what you've done is you've said, okay, there was $500 that were allocated to a car. Now I get to allocate that to my home loan. And so that allows you to buy more of a home using the same money and just reorganizing things.
Exactly. So to recap, I think the main takeaway is one, that when you get approved for a home loan, you're actually getting approved for a monthly payment. And based on that monthly payment, the lender will tell you how much of a loan that will buy you. Because of it, it's essential that we pay close attention to not only your monthly income, but also your monthly expenses, because it is that debt to income ratio, what Greg just said, what's going to determine your home buying power. And just like he just broke down, just by relocating or repurposing some of the same funds you already have, you can easily, not only if you decide to stay at the same price point, in this case, $400,000, now you're saving an additional $300 a month just by repurposing some of that down payment that you were originally planning on using completely as a down payment. Or
Correct.
if you wanted to take advantage of your increased buying power by not having that $500 card payment on your books anymore, then you might be looking at, instead of 400, you might be looking at around 440, 450. And that could be the difference between getting into an area that you really like versus one that you are settling with or compromising on, or the difference between having an extra bedroom or a nicer yard or just a better home. I think you get the point. So just by being more intentional on how to utilize the resources you have, you might you might be able to buy a home that you truly love versus one that you just are simply okay with. Anything you want
Correct.
to add to that, Greg?
I think I would just say that sometimes it's always worth advocating for yourself as a buyer and as a borrower. So if you're in a scenario where you know you have some debts and you know you have some cash that's going towards a monthly payment, talk to your loan officer and say like, hey, are there any more creative ways to leverage this to give us our best advantage? Maybe they haven't really thought through paying something off instead of putting that money towards your down payment. Ask those questions. And the reality is maybe the money going towards down payment is the best scenario, but it's certainly worth having that conversation because, you know, if all it takes to get to that dream house is another 20 grand in terms of qualification, that's not that difficult to get to. If what you're talking about is paying off a credit card or paying down a loan, it's the numbers can be swayed pretty quickly if you know how to do it. So advocate for yourselves with your lender to make sure that you're getting the most thoughtful, kind of creative approach to your file.
Right. And just like you said, sometimes the right answer is to allocate every penny you have into a larger down payment so
Yeah,
you can get to the home you want. The point is that you are aware of the different options you can use those funds so you make your money go further. So you can make an informed decision on how to best invest those resources. You said something else. Advocate for yourself. Don't just simply
yes,
rely on what your lender tells you to do. Ask questions, get clarification, because at the end of the day, you are the one who will be either reaping the benefits or the consequences by making those investment decisions. So, all right. Well, hopefully this was helpful. Again, you can potentially get into a home you love without having to spend more than what you already have. Just simply have those conversations with the professional helping you with it. And yeah, it doesn't hurt to get a second opinion. So, what is the best way to get a hold of you, Greg, if they wanted to get in touch with you?
yeah. The easiest thing from here is just to click on my profile, shoot me a message. If not, you can always Google Greg Conley CMG, and it'll pop up with my information. Give me a call.
Some of the feeds, some of the Google results might show him in a NBA uniform. Some of the, he's a great baller, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right, guys. Well, thank you all for watching today. I hope everyone has a nice and merry and relaxing Christmas. And we'll see you all again next week. Take care.
See ya.